to the StockMiner.com here in the snowy Black Hills of South Dakota today. I'm your StockMiner, Brian Johnson. Very cold, very snowy out today, and a very kind of we were more or less sideways today in the markets. Now, the NASDAQ did finish up for the day, so we see a little bit of a reversal here where the NASDAQ has been getting thumped lately. It was the leader today. Anyway, while the rest of the markets were down ever so slightly, with the Dow actually being the weakest yet again today. So looking at the markets overall, though, look at the big move we've had down. So guess what? I'm sure everybody and their brother is talking about the bounce. And sure, you betcha, we should start looking at it. This is actually quite a decent move down here for the bears. Let's remember that we've got quite a ways to go before we really start to destroy anything that's been done over the past few months. We've done a lot of damage over the past few weeks worth of trading, but we've still got quite a bit to go before we do anything over the last few months. So we were down to start the day and then got the bounce coming right back up. Now the Dow for me was the most interesting because it came down into some lower support levels here, right down near that 12,000 mark. We talked about that. It dipped below it by about 17 points today. But that 12,000 area is one that I really want to watch now within the Dow. For those of you that are subscribers, you'll know why. I have a lot more lines drawn on those charts. So they're a lot more in depth within the market itself, but there is some really strong support sitting down here along these levels here. So we will continue to watch, see if we can get some of this to break. Now today we saw that move down, then we saw the bounce up. So yes, there was some buying that came back into the market today, kind of towards, the middle end of the day, but it wasn't anything major. Okay, so once again, second day in a row, the internals haven't impressed me all that much. I really haven't seen any necessarily confirmation to the bear or the bull side at this point. Here's what I do know, and that is we finally got not one but two consecutive closes below the 20-day moving average now on the Dow. That'll do it for all of the indices, and that is overall pretty bearish. Haven't been able to do that since, wow, I mean, this maybe down here, this area here, we got to go back to, so November. We're talking late November before since we've been below the 20-day moving average for any length of time. This isn't a great length of time. Granted, two days does not make a market, but it is something that at least gets the bears started. This is the start of a potential move, pullback, whatever you want to call it, within the markets itself. So the Dow finally dropping below the 20-day. Let's see if they can try to recover that before the end of the week. But the fact that it did it not once but twice is very, very strong for the bears. It's a good move by them. NASDAQ here doing the consolidation thing as well, down and then back up. Ended up being kind of a double bottom type of a look here. So we get this move down and then a further bounce right here, coming right back up into this area. Now, is it a confirmed double bottom? Not in my book, not yet. So it's just a consolidation at this point. We do have this move down here for those of you that like to Elliott wave this stuff. Maybe a 1, 2, 3, working on an ABC sideways 4. Before a potential 5 down. I'm just saying. That potential is absolutely still there for yet more weakness within the market. So I'm not sold on what we saw today. Yeah, it's a white candle. Yeah, it's a potential, whatever you want to call it, harami, if you will, whatever. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm not sold on this right down here. I'm really looking for pushes back up. A lot of the other indices are still close or at their 20-day. This is way down here at its 50. Now, it has held for a couple of days. But I'm still not above looking for some more bearish action within the markets itself. I'm just telling you guys, don't get too excited about the bull bounce quite yet. We're not there yet. We haven't seen the confirmation. I'm not sold on it yet. Let's get back up into these areas before we start looking at some potential bullishness coming back into the markets. NASDAQ weekly, same type of thing. Got about a day left now. So it looks like we may end up finishing down for the week. Going to take quite a haul to get itself back up here. So I would say that we'll finish with something looking more probably similar to what this candle is now potentially, but we'll talk more about it end of tomorrow. Still looking at this as the more major lower levels within the weeklies going forward. SPX 60-minute bounced down, going back up right into where? Overhead resistance. I didn't make it very far. So yes, we got some good push last hour, 2 hours or so of the day, but overall we didn't cover a lot of ground. So we still have the 200, we have the 20, we have this previous overhead resistance here. And we still got to get back up into these areas before we can really start talking about a potential bounce, correction, whatever you guys want to look at it as. It really doesn't matter at this point to me. I'm just not sold on what we saw at the end of the day. It wasn't major buying from the market. I wasn't necessarily overly impressed with what I saw by the bulls. So don't jump off the bear bandwagon quite yet. Let's make it prove it to us. Let's let it get back up above these levels here. SPX daily doing the same thing. Coming down, and yes, it put in this little doji candle. Yes, we have some tails down here. New, I'm not sold on this. Doesn't make any difference. 1, 2 closes below the 20. That's ultimately what I've been really watching. We got closes below this 12, this 1310, 1312, 1310 to 1315 area, really more importantly now, within the markets. As you can see us put in right here, a flat day, open, down, back up again, but really moving nowhere. Overall, we didn't really go anywhere. We did see some sub 1300 moves here, but nothing that stuck. However, we didn't get back up above the 20-day, which is really what I was looking to see. If we were going to bounce, was it going to get back up above the 20? Gonna have to reclaim that. The bulls are running out of time here. So right now we've got 2 consecutive closes below that 20-day. VIX daily coming back a little bit. Now it was down considerably today, actually. 4% is quite a move in the VIX, while the markets were basically flat on the day. But as I said, I'm not concerned about whether or not it pulls back here. You know, VIX down, market up, whatever it does. I don't really care at this point. It's whether or not we stay in this area. I'm looking for the VIX to stay high, back above that 1920-ish area. That would be more important to me than whether or not it actually pulls back for a day or two. Once it gets back down into here, then yeah, maybe we're still in for some more of that bullish action. But from a daily, from a weekly, you can see we're staying above the 1920-ish level. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. It can take a little while for these things to kind of work themselves out. So I'm not necessarily concerned here if I don't see closes above the 50 this particular week. Matter of fact, it wouldn't bother me if it took us a while to get back above the 50, as long as we stay above these levels here. That's what I'm going to be watching going forward. Apple 60-minute consolidation down here, pretty clean within the moves in the market. Up, then down, then back up again. This is just a consolidation, but overall, guys, it's not necessarily bullish. We are staying above the 50, but this is going to become more and more and more important as we head into the end of the week. Still looking for breaks below this area and ultimately below this area within Apple to see if there's any kind of a turnaround for the bulls in the short term, at least. We've not come back to revisit the 20, and that'll be my overhead resistance for you guys. Back into and below this blue line that we've been following now for a while. So we'll see where that closes tomorrow, being the weekly. FAS 60-minute, move down, bounce back up, much as what we saw within the markets, trying to claim some of these levels. But look, going nowhere. We did not get back above any of the moving averages here. We did not get back above any of this overhead resistance that we have with us. Really, short term, a lot of these charts, guys, are showing nothing broken from the bear side now. On the shorter term, not the bigger term, but the shorter term, the bears are starting to kind of get a little bit of a swagger to them down here. It's just a matter of whether or not they can hold it coming into the end of the week. And from a daily perspective, look, we tapped this 50, got below it, couldn't hold it. So possible we did have entries down below some of these levels for just a short while. So we did have entries to the short side, some good day trading to be done here. However, overall, nothing really to to really sink your teeth into after today. If you guys are short, by the way, and you're holding for a few days, I'd probably be looking to move my stops down a little bit just in case we do get that bounce within the financials. You know that's where the market likes to shove money. When things need to be recovered, they like to put it back into the banks first, so we want to be prepared for that just in case we do see a bounce. If you're looking for a trade tomorrow, back above that 31 mark might start to get you creeping back up into this 20-day. So 31 to 32, still a nice $1 trade. To the short side, I still like it below the 50-day again. It worked for a little while today, nothing major on that trade today, but I still like it below the 50 if we get another move back there again tomorrow. FAZ then, look at this, getting back above that 200 as we talked about, and now today, staying above the 200. A very, very good move by FAZ. If it can continue this momentum tomorrow, oh, look at this. It looks like they've moved. I guess I didn't pay attention to this. Sorry, guys. But on the FAZ, you'll notice how they've changed the pricing. And I remember reading about this. I forgot to tell you guys, but they have changed the pricing again on the FAZ. So instead of dealing with the $8 and $9 that we had been the last few days, they made changes to the indice today so that it's a little bit more tradable. I understand. It makes sense. Well, let's just take a look real quick at the daily then and see how that has changed. Now, this used to be like a $9 line. Now it's like the $39 line. So, point being, we're above the 20-day moving average. We've kind of crept up above this, and look what we're coming into, that 50. So, my moves still stand. Let's go, wow, and I'm going to change this. Above 41, above 43.50, and then back above about 45-ish or so for your trades going forward on the FAZ. That's going to have me mixed up for a few days. So overall, though, nothing broken, really coming down here. We have a start at something here in the FAZ, but nothing really that's got me overexcited quite yet on these FAZ moves down here. So for those of you that are in it, it is no longer an $8, $9. It is now a $40, $41 type trade. So keep that in mind if you decide to start trading this. You've got my levels here. Be watching those over the next couple days. I'll be back with you again tomorrow with an end of week report. We'll see where things finish on the weeklies and see where we're at coming into the beginning of next week. Right now, move down, move back up, wandering sideways. No real commitment one way or the other. I got to tell you, I'm about a flat neutral right now when it comes to the overall market. We haven't had anything really broken necessarily from the bull side big term. We haven't had anything necessarily broken over the bear side short term. So we're right in this little channel of trading that I like to be very, very cautious with. Okay, so look for those breaks. Wait for those breaks. Don't guess. Let the charts give you the entries. Take those entries, make some money, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow night. Bye.